Let's go to the United States now. Democrat strategist Jim Kessler, who was listening on in that conversation, no doubt. He's previously advised Senator Chuck Schumer. He joins us live now. Jim, so great to see you. Of course, a lot has happened since we last spoke, but I want to pick up where I left off with Ross there about, I know Democrats are pretty down in the dumps about where Trump is taking the country. That's certainly not where you wanted to. But in terms of the competitiveness on a global scale, I mean, it's looking pretty good in that sense, isn't it? Do you agree or endorse any of the initial steps that Trump has taken?
Here's my major concern. So for the last 75 years, America and its allies, NATO, Australia, Southeast Asian allies, we've been together because our mutual security benefited us both for national security and made us all wealthier. Trump believes that those relationships have been a burden on the United States, not a benefit of the United States. So he wants to upend those relationships. So, yeah, it would be, yes, I do agree. It would be great if NATO spent more on national defense, and maybe they will. But tariffs on NATO, tariffs on Australia, forcing those countries to raise their taxes, I'm not sure that's going to work to the benefit of the United States or the world economy. So that's my concern of upending the world order that has worked for us for the last 75 years.
Yeah, sure. And the rules-based order, absolutely. Pulling out of the World Health Organization, I think, you've got to be a little bit of a globalist when it comes to things like that and can't be too parochial. But on that parochial point, do you really think there would be the imposition of tariffs on Australia, given, where Trump would be looking first? It's Europe, it's NATO, it's the border countries, Mexico and Canada.
Right. So Canada and Mexico are two of the three largest trade partners of the United States. Mm-hmm. We don't have perfect relationships with those countries, but we have very good relationships with those countries. We have very peaceful relationships with those countries. So, look, are these tariff threats basically a negotiating tactic, or are they not? Because if we are raising tariffs on Mexico and Canada, well, that's a sales tax on all United States consumers. So that's inflationary, but they're going to respond with their own tariffs. Trump believes that America's might and size will make it so these countries acquiesce. But if they don't, and they may not, and same with Europe and other places, then we have a trade war, we have a tariff war, and we have a massive slowdown of the world economy. So I guess it's a game of chicken. I don't know who's going to blink first.
Yeah, that's certainly right. Well, a few other things that conversation starters, at the very least, that Trump has done in his first couple of days is things like, an executive order only recognising two genders. Now, there's a more serious point to this, because I think there is an appetite, both here in Australia as well in an election year, and the United States, where people want to return to common sense. They think cancel culture has gone too far. What is your view on putting that executive order in? Is it just mean, or do you think it actually has a broader point?
I think most of the executive orders that Donald Trump has done having to do with DEI, transgender issues, those sort of things, I think they will be broadly popular with the American people, although I think some of them they'll feel have gone overboard. But, everyone expected this with Donald Trump. Like, no one is surprised about those orders. I think for some people it's very hurtful and feels mean, but no one is surprised.
Jim Kessler, we'll leave it there. Great to talk to you. We'll check in again soon.
Always a pleasure.